Alright, I'm going to try something a little different right now. I'm actually going to be doing a movie review. And I might be doing these sometime more in the future. But I also wanted to do it with Kat, but right now she's sick and at the moment she's not home. So I'm just going to do these on my own. I'm going to be filming 3 movie reviews that are going to be coming out every other day. Because Kat and I went and saw 3 movies over Christmas break. So I'm going to be doing 3 movie reviews back to back to back. But enough chattering, it's time to talk about Bumblebee. This was the first movie that we went and saw. We went out to Omaha. I wanted to see this movie so badly because I've been hearing such amazing things about it online, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. Now, before I get any further into this is a big spoiler warning for you. So, if you haven't seen Bumblebee, go watch it and come back, or if you just don't give a shit about spoilers, stay here. So, where to begin with Bumblebee? Because this movie is fantastic. Well, I guess the best way to start it is at the beginning, and the beginning of this movie is so fucking amazing. Like, I didn't really grow up with G1 as a kid. Like, I was born in 1995, and I didn't get into Transformers until 2007. But over the past 11 years, I've grown to love where Transformers started, and seeing all that G1 goodness up on the big screen, it shows that it can work, and it looks fucking amazing. It's spectacular. Because as we saw in the trailer, there were designs for Optimus, Shockwave, Soundwave. We also got Starscream in there, which the whole Starscream Blitzwing thing was kind of weird. But we did actually get Starscream, like actual Starscream with blue bits and all. So that was really cool to see. But as for the Autobots, we not only saw like Optimus and we saw like Cybertron mode Bumblebee, we also saw Cliffjumper, RC, Wheeljack, Ironhide and Ratchet, and if there were any more, I don't remember seeing. But it all looked so amazing. Cybertron looked so much better than the last movies where they showed it. Basically, the Cybertron scenes of this movie looked a lot like War 4 or Fall of Cybertron. And I'm so happy that Travis Knight did this, and could we get more like this, please? So yes, there's the war on Cybertron, they have to evacuate. Bumblebee goes to Earth in 1987, which completely basically retcons an entire like plot point of the last night, which is something that I also want to get into. The studio is saying that this movie is not a reboot, when nearly every sign in this movie points to a reboot. And in all honesty, I really want this to be a reboot. A reboot is definitely the way to go. I'm not a big fan of Age of Extinction. I liked it when I saw it in theaters, but now it's just like, I really don't like it. And the last night, well, Brian, Larry, and I talked about this on TFIA last year, but this movie basically retcons like 90% of what has happened in the Transformers lore. So many signs rather than not point to this being a reboot. And I'm fine with that. I want a reboot. But anyway, Bumblebee gets to Earth, he crash lands next to Sector 7, he has to deal with them and run away from them for a bit, and then all of a sudden Blitzwing shows up and they fight for a bit, and Blitzwing's the one who rips out his voice box. That was really interesting to see. Also, Dylan O'Brien as the voice of Bumblebee. I loved you. You did good. Come back, please. As cute as it is seeing Bumblebee talk through the radio and not being able to like talk or anything, I'm so tired of that. Please come back and be the voice of Bumblebee. But anyway, Charlie Watson, this is now where we meet her, and she's just lovely. She's definitely the one that we're supposed to relate to, and I definitely hardcore relate with her. She's just still mourning over her dad since he died like only a year before or something like that. And her mom and the rest of her family have already moved on to like this new dude, and I kind of am with Charlie. It's like, that's too damn soon to already forget about your last husband. And so she's trying to get a car to get out of there. Her and her dad used to fix up this old beaten up car, and so far nothing has worked since he's been gone. And she's just trying to still do it so that way she can connect with him, which is really sweet. So she goes to the junkyard to pick up some spare parts, and she sees Bumblebee. So she goes up to the dude who owns the junkyard. It's like, hey, I want this Beetle. If I can get it to work, I would like to have it. I'll work every day and do all this stuff for you. But the dude's like, no, we're not hiring. But since it's your birthday, it's yours, if you can get it to work. So she gets it to work, she drives off. And the dude's in the junkyard being like, that thing's a death trap. Yeah, I know, but look how happy she is. It was really nice. But anyway, she brings the Beetle back to her garage, and oh my god, it's Bumblebee! And so that's how that friendship begins. His memory is all messed up because of the fight with Blitzwing, and he can't talk, so he's just kind of relearning how to do everything. He's like a little kid. And so Charlie does her best in this movie to try to get him to blend in and have some fun on Earth. Later on, we've kind of been like getting little spurts of him here and there, but later on in the movie we meet a character called Memo, which doesn't end up being a love interest. He wants to be a love interest, but I kind of like that they don't get together in the end. It's definitely a cliche dodge. So, that was really nice. What else can we talk about? Oh, Shatter and Dropkick, the two other Decepticons. These are definitely how you do triple changes right. Like from Age of Extinction. Did you remember that Drift was a triple changer? No one else did either because he only did it like twice the whole movie. And the last night he didn't even do that. He was just a car. If he even transformed at all. Anyway, Shatter and Dropkick is really nice just from when they arrive on Earth to when they start fucking with the government. They really are just like actually deceiving people, which is great. But also John Cena had one of the funniest lines in there when they're talking about how the Decepticons want to use satellites to find Bumblebee. John Cena's like, no, I don't think that we should do this. And besides, they literally call themselves Decepticons. Doesn't that have any red flags? And I thought that was the funniest thing. I've seen in another review where someone speculated, like, maybe like this is becoming like Silas from Transformers Prime. Like, that's an interesting concept. But I'd honestly love to see John Cena's character be brought over to, like, a G.I. Joe movie. That would be interesting. Like, if we find out that Agent Burns was, like, Duke from G.I. Joe. That'd be really cool. He already has, like, a scar on his head, so maybe that's what they're going with. I'd be okay with it. I don't even like John Cena that much, but I'd be okay with it. It's a good way to tie movie universes together. Hasbro, listen to this. No one's gonna listen to this. What the fuck? Anyway, something I wanted to talk about. One of the best references in this movie. Bumblebee, Charlie, and Memo drive up to this cliff where like all the cool kids are hanging out. It's the lake scene from the 2007 movie all over again, but done a little bit better here. But they go to this cliff where all the cool kids are hanging out, and the jock buff dude was like, "I'm gonna dive off this cliff. Who wants to do it with me?" And Bumblebee like bumps Charlie forward, and the dude's like, "Oh hey, you were a champion diver, like Olympic material. Come do this with me." And he jumps off, and everyone's like looking to Charlie for her to do it, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know." And then Bumblebee all of a sudden is like, "You got the touch! You got the power!" He starts playing The Touch through the radio, and I thought that was amazing. Like, yeah, it was a song for the 86 Transformers movie, but it's a song from the 80s before this movie's time period is set, so it can work. But ultimately, she can't do the dive off the cliff because she hasn't done her swimming stuff since her dad died the year prior, and it's really hard for her, and I get that. You kind of lose your motivation and your liking to do something, even if it was something you were really passionate about. You kind of lose a part of yourself when someone you really care about suddenly dies, or when you lose someone that you really care about. But at the end, it totally gets paid off because she dives into the water after Bumblebee. You saw it in the trailer. That was really cool, though. But yeah, eventually Bumblebee gets his memory back. We have a nice big fight in a harbor with Shatter and Dropkick and Bumblebee. John Cena Burns finally realizes that, oh, Bumblebee's a good guy, and those other assholes who just killed my doctor friend, yeah, they're bad. So, Bumblebee, you go take care of this. And so they have this really big fight in the harbor. Both the Decepticons die, which is unfortunate, but, you know, what are you going to do? There are going to be more, I'm sure there are going to be more Decepticons in the sequel, because I really hope there's a sequel to this. This was so good. Can we please have more movies like Bumblebee, please? Anyway, they both die. They stop them from bringing an army to Earth, even though it's probably going to happen anyway. They go to the Golden Gate Bridge, because this is set in San Francisco, and Bumblebee and Charlie have to say goodbye now, because Bumblebee remembers what he's on Earth for, and Charlie understands, and she's like, you gotta go. So Bumblebee scans a new form from a car that's driving by the bridge, and to no one's surprise, it's the Camaro from the first movie. But then when he's driving on the Golden Gate Bridge, he drives up next to this red Freightliner flat-nosed truck with a very distinct striping pattern on the trailer. And I've seen other people talk about this before, and I agree. It's a good nod to people saying, hey, both these things can coexist. And then after that, Charlie gets the old car working, and the other Autobots come to Earth to meet with Optimus and Bumblebee. And that's the end. Now, there are definitely some problems in this movie, but I can honestly ignore them. Just like, this was so good. It was so much better than the last two movies. It might be the best out of all of them. Like, I'm still going to have a soft spot for the first Transformers movie from 2007, but, like, this movie was just so great. I don't have anything nailed down yet for a ranking of the Transformers movies, but Kat and I might do a video on ranking the Transformers movies in the future. We'll need to see. Now, I might try to do a rating system for these videos. I don't really have anything worked out. I might just do a number rating system. So, honestly, for Bumblebee, I'd honestly give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's really good. It also helps that once the movie was over, I was able to find this little dude in Walmart. Thank you, G1 Reissues. So yes, guys, that has been my movie review of Bumblebee. Have you guys seen it? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments. I'd really love to know. But that's another video from me. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been 01 Trans Fan, the #1. I'll talk to you all next time. Take it easy, guys.